you have to manage the time period. So all such things has changed a lot, and now you are not a simple man. You are not that much comfortable when you were there. Uh, if you feel that those were the comfort for you. Similarly, when you go for the meditation, you will have to keep yourself cool. So overall, what I have learned through this phase and through this period, that life is a balancing act. When you balance your time, when you balance your habit, when you balance your schedule, so everything is under control, and that will remain there. If you are crossing the boundaries, you will be in a difficult situation. And if it is not Corona even, you should adopt all such things which were there, which is there in our literature, in our Sanskriti, that these are the actual values and the norms of living. So all those living norms we will have to follow. If you are not following those norms, you are going out of the track, then you will be in a difficult situation, and you will be catch one day. So this is my personal feeling. I may be wrong if it is like this, but the sleeping time, the wake up time, eating time, everything means time management should also be there. Time management actually give you ability to focus on yourself, on your work, and it give you ability to concentrate. When you are concentrating, when you are focused in one direction, you will achieve the goal. Another thing, if you are positive, be positive in any of the situation, whether it is good or bad, whether it is in favor or not in your favor. But if you are positive throughout your life, you will see that many things have not come across you. So, thank you very much for inviting me. I'll not say much of the things on the topic. Uh, and we would like to listen from Lalit Kumar ji. Thank you very much. Thank you to organizers.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your kind words, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now, it would be privilege for me to invite the man of distinction, fountainhead of illuminating ideas and idea of knowledge and experience and inspiration to all of us. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, Chief Guest of the today's event to present the visionary word to the gathering. Please, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Hardev. First of all, I welcome our today's speaker, Dr. Lalit Varmaji, who has kindly agreed to be with us. He's going to speak on a very important topic, and that is COVID-19, navigating through the challenges. When COVID-19 came, its its appearance itself is so still is a doubtful, right? It's still doubtful whether it has come through the lab or it is natural. So everything is is becoming a challenge itself. It has come to the various countries, then it came to the India, and we have done one kind of wave, then we have second wave, and so on, right? And everybody is trying to learn the things from, because as if something invisible has come up, and we are not able to even analyze the thing. In the first wave, how we were behaving, behaving very differently. And second wave, though we are more we have more number of cases, but our behavior was still very different, because we could understand something out of it, something out of the existence of this virus, right? We could understand something, how it behaves, how it reacts, how you can catch it, how its behavior itself is changing. So, but the point is that we are to make analysis. We have to make analysis out of the various data being collected by the various hospitals and various people, through the. That's what is happening. That's we are doing the research on it. We are doing the research on it, and we are learning the things. That's what I feel is that our topic is saying that we will be, we have the challenges, we are passing through the challenges, we are learning through the challenges, and we are, obviously overcoming the challenges. Right? So, we were thinking that it is a kind of a war. It is a kind of a war, the people said it is a bio war or whatever you say is there, and we everyone has to defend it. So everybody is thinking that how he can come out with the vaccine. Then people are thinking the business of the vaccine. Now we're saying that okay, let's have a vaccine which is for everyone, every citizen of the world should have a vaccine free, not in the free, but it should be, should not be, patented. It should be that anybody can make the vaccine out of the whatever the research being carried out, because it's a pandemic. It is a pandemic declared at the world level, right? So we are to help each other. That is the thing we should learn it, right? So I say whenever the challenges are there, whenever the situations are such that we should learn from these things, such things, and that is where the whole of the world is converging, right? Whole of the world is converging that okay, if there is something which is if I say it is not man-made created viruses, then I think it will lead to the peace. Otherwise, it may lead to the worst situation. So we have to analyze the things. I will say the analysis of the things are very, very important, and that's you have to also the plan the things. That is where the strategy will matter. So, looking at I will say that looking at the situation in the pandemic, right? It is very important that the nation and individually and the individuals also analyze the situation, that how to protect ourselves and how to protect the things from the nation which are going to face. The nations differently will be facing the things, right? If we have this a situation, we have, for example, this pandemic situation has brought this economic situation very differently, and the inflation is there, and we don't have much money to spend on, and then let's say this is economic things which are will be differently. What I say is it will be affected. The economy of the countries will be affected. So it will not be just the war which we had earlier. It may be the economic wars. That's the kind of things which are you have to visualize, right? So I see that whatever is the situation, we are to passing through, and we have to analyze the things from not only just looking at whether to wear the mask or not, but to see that extent whether it is economic war or whether it can lead to the other physical kind of war. That is the way we will see that our strategic should think of, and we should be ready for everything, and we should have a plan for everything. And that is, I think, we should concentrate more on it. And I really understand that how our speaker, Dr. Lalitji, who is a physicist, I always say the physicists can do anything, right? So that is the thing I feel, because whatever, it makes you learn the things, right? Physics make you learn the things and learn to how to learn the things, right? So that is the way we learn in physics, and we can do anything because we know how to learn the things or relearn the things. So you are doing wonderful job, and you are doing the meaningful research and contributing to the society, and that's what I feel we should now concentrate on. That is one learning we have come through this pandemic, is that we should do the meaningful research, which is useful for the human beings and which are for anything, agriculture or animals or something. Right? It has to be meaningful, right? So with these words, I once again welcome our speaker and congratulate the department, Professor Sujata Sanghi, and her colleagues, and all the participants, those who are participating. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We feel really privileged to have your supervision and backing with us at all the time, sir. We are really thankful for your motivational words. Definitely, your address always create positive environment for us and force us to struggle hard and achieve more. Thank you very much, sir. The world has been thrown for a loop with the coronavirus pandemic, with many having to put their lives on pause. Educators have had to shift their. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
There was a brief pause, but you are back online. So please carry on.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Actually, and educators have had to shift their courses online. Students are adjusting to home learning, and parents and caregivers are juggling between working from home and homeschooling their kids. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we rarely get this kind of opportunity to listen to the words of the great knowledgeable speaker. I am talking about the Mr. Lalit K. Verma, Director, Non-Clinical Safety Data Science at Johnson & Johnson, USA. It will my honor to invite our keynote speaker, Mr. Lalit K. Verma, sir, to present valuable knowledge with us. Please, sir, over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Hardev. I couldn't put the words in a better way. You have already heard the preamble from our honorable chief guest, Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, and our guest of honor, Professor Avinash Verma-ji. You are only going to hear more of it, and I'm going to reinforce throughout my talk and the presentation the words that you have already heard. Some of the things that stick with me from both the talks and brief introduction was that time management, sleeping patterns, change in lifestyle, the challenges that we are facing, and just having a self-belief and positive attitude. So you are going to hear more of this. So with this, so let me invite you all to this talk. So dear students, respected faculty members, and extended supporting family of Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology, thank you so much for the opportunity to be among you this evening. I sincerely thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor and Chief Guest, Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, our guest of honor, Professor Avinash Verma, respected Chairperson, Professor Sujata Sanghi, and our event coordinator, Dr. Hardev Saini. So I'm humbled and honored by sharing this platform and next few moments of your life with me. So dear audience, just know that without your participation, this event wouldn't be meaningful. Therefore, I deeply appreciate your presence. So immense thank you and a big round of applause to all of you. Let's take this moment to celebrate GJUS recognition by the renowned Times Higher Education Asia University ranking 2021, being among the top 300 academic institutes of higher learning. It's not an easy job. I mean, there are so many universities now springing forward to keep pace and stay competitive, and delivering quality of education is not for the faint of the hearts. So it takes a lot of effort, courage, strategy, and planning. So congratulations to all of you, and another big round of applause is due. So yeah, pat yourself on the back on this achievement.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So let me share my presentation also, so that at least you are not just staring at my face. You have something to look at as well. Just give me a second and let me know when you can see. So hopefully all of you can see the presentation.
Amanjit, stop sharing.
Can you see my presentation or not yet?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We can see. We can see.
It's
It is visible.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So let's harness the power of collective intelligence, folks. Let me hide this. What I want to do is that make today's sessions more interactive, interesting, and a fun learning experience for all of you. So please think through and do the active listening as you hear, and write your comments or questions in the chat box that Dr. Hardev will be monitoring. And if we have time, we will take questions in between if they are appropriate, just within that time. That does not interrupt the flow. Otherwise, I will leave enough time at the end of the talk to take on the questions, and we'll talk about that. So let's also change a little bit of the patterns that instead of being it a more sounding like a lecture, let us make it more conversational. So I have two questions for you. The first one is that, why are you here today? And you have to answer it to yourself, not to me. You just think through it. And what you expect to learn from it today. So with those two questions, now the ball is in your court as you think about it. Let me move on to my outline of today's talk. So it's three simple things that you will know, get to know me, a fresh perspective on the pandemic itself, and learn about some of the effective strategies to deal with it. So as you know that, just a second, I'm having a little bit of technical challenge here. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So little bit about my journey. I started my journey back in place Fatehpur. That's where I was born, and it's a place near Shamli in Muzaffarnagar district in Western UP, which is as you know, it's close to you guys. And I was born in Jhajjar, which is now a separate district of its own, but back then in 1967, it was part of Rohtak district. So most of my childhood I spent in Gurgaon and received my elementary education there. My father was a professor of English in Haryana Education Service, and my mom was a home baker. So along with my 5 older siblings, we moved with my dad's job from Jhajjar to Gurgaon, to Bhiwani, Karnal, and back to Gurgaon before we finally settled as a family. And by the time we settled back in Gurgaon, my father was close to retirement. I was almost 21. And by that time, I had earned my higher education, my master and MPhil degree from MD University, as Professor Sanghi has already alluded to. And also, that's the place where I had the pleasure of sharing the classroom with Professor Sanghi. So my first job was at Sri Aurobindo College back in 1990. That's where I joined as a lecturer in electronics. Was also part of the Delhi University faculty. So I also want to share that since my childhood, I have been practicing yoga asanas, and just only for the record, nothing to boast about it. I won the National Yoga Championship 5 times between 1981 and 1989, and also various other yoga competitions. So this has been part of my life, and I would like to share some of the learnings with you. So it's 50 years of learning that I would like to share with you today. So let me quickly go back to okay. So this is really the little bit of my journey I would like to share. So that's where the home is right now, Sector 22 in Gurgaon. Family is settled there. All of my older siblings, majority of them are professor of English, barring one of my elder brother, who is a technician. He deals with the electronics, and I'm the one who broke the trend in the family also and went into the sciences. As I alluded earlier, in 1990 I joined Delhi University, Sri Aurobindo College, and South Campus was the home. That's where I spent a lot of time working with the senior professors and the campus faculty over there in designing the curriculum of Delhi University Electronics Honors. It was a very new discipline back then, and I had the pleasure of staying at the forefront of those and contributing to shaping its future. So probably it's a well-oiled machine today, and hopefully some of my contributions are there that students can take advantage of. So at Sri Aurobindo College, which is in the South Delhi, Malviya Nagar, it's about 10 to 12 kilometers from the South Campus in South Delhi. I spent my 9 years here teaching various electronics courses, undergrad students, and also I grew through the ranks as a senior lecturer, reader, and also as head of the electronics department. But as you know that there are things in life that you do not plan for, they just happen fortuitously. Same thing happened to me. And in 1990 January, I had the opportunity to join University of Acton to pursue my higher studies again for my second master's in computer science. And that's where I spent next 3 years learning computer science, and also at the same time exploring my future here in US. Hello? Is there a question for me?
Dr. Hardev, बाकी म्यूट कर दीजिए आप.
Sorry, thanks. So let me just carry on. So that's where the house was, really, and the university was pretty close by. So a nice walk and a fun learning experience. And the computer science that I experience today in practice is pretty much the outcome of my learnings at this university. So I'm immensely grateful to University of Akron. And that is in Midwest in Ohio. From there, I moved to the East Coast in US, and Celera Genomics was the first company that, if many of you may not know, this is the place where I did my first professional job, if you will, as a senior software engineer. This beautiful campus, and this was at the forefront of cutting-edge scientific technology. The genomics world proliferation of the technologies and science that we see coming out of the omics data and a lot of the wet lab technologies is the result of the work that was done by Celera Genomics. It was the first company in the world that gave the competition to the non-profit organizations also, and sequenced the first human genome that we know today. So it was a privilege and a very proud moment for me to be part of that culture at that point and be present and contribute to the developments that the society is benefiting today. So anyway, I spent 4 years there, but the history tells us that however flourishing the business may be, the economy is at scale, and the changing forces of economy can take anything in its strides. So Celera was nothing new, And as they were more ambitious to get into the small molecule pharmaceutical business, which is again, it's a very tough ask and difficult business to be in. Celera went out of business in no times. From rags to riches, I've seen all of that. And it impacted pretty much all of the workforce. And that's where I moved my family and job. So all of those impacts were there. So I moved back to the Midwest in Indianapolis, which is a neighboring state to Ohio, to Eli Lilly and Company. And again, it's a global company with 145 years of history. It's again a very beautiful campus. It's in 2 by 2 square kilometers of campus that you can see here. This is in the center is all Eli Lilly and Company. And next 6 years of my life, from 2007 to 2012, I spent at this campus. I have fond memories of here working as a technical lead, scientific lead for the pharmacogenomics informatics. That was a very niche discipline at that time, which had just started to come into the pharmaceutical world for personalizing the medicine. How you tailor the molecules or the therapy, the drug candidates that come through the various drug discovery pipelines, which are customized for the human genomes. As you know that we have population differences. Indians look very different from Chinese and who look very different from Europeans. So how do you tailor a therapy or molecule that is customized for the different genomes? So I developed that capability at Eli Lilly and Company. So again, you can see it's a beautiful campus here. A lot of facilities that you don't have to leave the campus, inside shopping mall, nice restaurants and playgrounds, as well as track and field. So this is really a fun at work. So that's pretty much the culture here. But again, there were a lot of changes going on as major drug went off patent for Lilly. So there was a challenge in front of Lilly from 2010 to 2016. And that's where in 2012, I moved from Lilly into Dow AgroSciences. It's not too far, still within Indianapolis area. But this is the campus that you can see here. And this beautiful campus here. This was the agriculture sector. So again, being a principal research scientist here in the IT and data sciences, I contributed a lot to this company's growth, both in R&D as well as on the regulatory affairs and regulatory sciences, enabling a lot of cutting edge technologies, all the way from in silico breeding, which reduced the research time by 2 years. Instead of physically waiting for the corn hybrids to be bred in field or winter nurseries and wait for 2 years, because it takes 5 generations of crossovers to learn whether you can advance a particular seed variety or not. So developing a digital capability based upon the deep learning were a very satisfying and proud moment for me to enable at Dow AgroSciences, that you can get all of those results just through in silico predictions within a few days, as opposed to 2 years. But again, there were a lot of challenges as the company went through merger and divestiture and splitting into independent publicly traded company between 2017 to 2019. In 2019, I decided to move to Elanco Animal Health, which is, again, Elanco Animal Health used to be part of Eli Lilly and Company, its animal health division, but in 2018, it separated from Eli Lilly and Company as a publicly traded independent company focusing only on the animal health. So that's where I spent my next 2 years as a data architect in R&D. I was leading the global teams, and I established a lot of capabilities for Elanco in data sciences, high performance computing. So from there, I moved to Janssen in early 2021. So I've been with Janssen now for about 6 months, and that's where the present is. All of my onboarding experience with Janssen pharmaceutical division of Johnson & Johnson companies has been all online. So I've yet to be on this beautiful campus, I can just see like you remotely. I think that was a little bit about my life and my journey. So now that you know a little bit better about me, so let me go back to my presentation. So I'm not going to spend too much time on these. These are just only for your records. The current state of the pandemic that we have here today. Let me get this out. Sorry about that. Okay. So these are the statistics by per 1,000 inhabitants across the world. How many are impacted by the COVID? This data is more recent, just about 10 days old. Well, the number of confirmed cases globally, and you can see it's pretty bleeding red, and India is turning almost black. So as the wave 2 is going through, this virus is mutating really fast, and more virulent variants are emerging across the globe. So we are not out of it yet. While we are still in the thick of it, the data just makes us more humble and think through it carefully. What does it all mean to us? So here I'm just showing quickly you the top 5 nations in the world that are worst impacted by this pandemic. So I'll let you read through this, but I'll continue to talk. So if I were to really sum up the COVID-19 pandemic, to me, it is really one sentence that boils down to Abel Mujhemar. And it is all the doing of China's ill-willed vested interests that were driven with the irresponsible science, I would say, and above all, irresponsible global citizenship. Professor Tankeshwar Kumar has already alluded to about this, and now it's not a secret. The world knows about it. So neither they timely informed the United Nations, World Health Organization, or CDC, nor they collaborated with the rest of the world leadership. So that makes me really think that President Xi, is he enough? Really, it's the pun intended here. And so whether is he enough to own and apologize to the world for the COVID-19 mess that he has created. So today, the digital and social media is more filled with fad and irrelevant news than actionable and relevant news, which is causing all of us information overload and, to say the least, a fatigue. So you will find thousands of Neem advices, politicization, misinformation of genuine vaccine solution out there. I mean, I know I have been part of this effort and have been in this business, that how hard and difficult it is and how much of rigor goes in producing just vaccine. And of course, I mean, the companies are open to sharing that knowledge, even though it is a trade secret. But given the size of the pandemic, of course, it is for the goodness of the mankind. But the true challenge that we must be aware of is that infrastructure it requires to produce the quality of vaccine that is safe and that can maintain its potency when it is being transported or stored or injected is of paramount importance. So this lack of infrastructure is the prohibiting factor that is not allowing this vaccine to be produced so broadly. There are a lot of companies out there in US, in Russia, in India that have a vaccine now, but this is the real challenge that I just alluded to. So, but the bottom line is that there is so much of the confusion around, and people just don't know what's right, what's wrong, which one to believe and which one not to believe. So there's a lot of frivolous talk that honestly doesn't lead us anywhere. So folks, we are living in the defining moments of our life, so and time to come in the distant future. Really, it is a history in making and story of generations to tell. So it all started at Wuhan, China back in October in 2019. Little did the world knew about it back then and could care less until COVID-19 was found in their own backyard. And it all happened within the blink of an eye. Professor Tankeshwar Kumar also said that while others were not even thinking about it or didn't wake up. So this is pretty much the situation across the world. There were only a few countries in the Western world that had just started to come out of their slumber when the reality hit them. So we knew that, who knew that human civilization globally will change ultimately, unimaginably, and for good. The year 2020, hey, I'm not talking about IPL T20 here. This is year T20, 2020. So this would be looked back as a major overhaul of the socio-economic and geopolitical fabric amidst the unprecedented and technological advances in the history of mankind. So it is such a pivotal moment that I would just call it as an inflection point in our trajectory. And you know that inflection point well, what it means. It changes the trajectory for good. You are not on the same path anymore. So in the pre and post-COVID world, what are some of the key messages that you want to stick and learn from? So I would definitely encourage and appreciate if all of you can think a little bit about next couple of points that I will talk about. So first one is the fragility and vulnerability of humans have been exposed by COVID. It is an alarming crisis of epic proportions since World War II in 21st century. So there is a global medical emergency still not fully understood. We don't understand this emergency still globally. And the world is poorly equipped to deal with it. The next one is, what is the economic impact? Any guesses there? Anybody? It's a self-imposed $11 trillion economic catastrophe till date. And more is yet to come. So that has taken a toll on public health and social needs. So imagine that how much of progress has been pushed back, what the world could have achieved with these $11 trillion. And another key point is a lack of international coordination. So everybody is my country first. So it's not a responsible leadership. So these are all the points that are crying out for the need for the world to interact with each other differently, to look at the problems globally and not locally, and come up with a solution. So all of those things are talked by various forums, and I will talk about that in a little bit. The next big thing that we should think about is a shift in the economic and power balance. This is the inflection point. That's what I'm talking about, that the world will find itself emerge out of pandemic in a different economic and power balance than it is today or pre-COVID. So economies globally are being accelerated by COVID-19 impact, especially the digital economy, and we are experiencing that today. I'm sitting almost 7,500 miles away from you, but that gap is now seamlessly bridged by the digital technologies. So that's one real life example right now we are experiencing. So we have seen unprecedented rise in the remote working and learning platforms during this time, e-shopping platforms or remote sensing and monitoring, and artificial intelligence and machine learning technology sectors. So that's where the economy or this technical advance has been speeded up. Next big thing under this category is that while the chips are down for airlines, the transportation, hotel industry, restaurant, and tourism industry, the most, which has pushed a lot of these businesses out or pushed them to the brink of bankruptcy. At the same time, subscription-based streaming entertainment platforms like Netflix, Hulu, and Roku, telemarketing and social media, freelancing and remote working platforms like Fiverr, Upwork, and services industry providers like EPAM, Tata Consultancy Services, Infosys, just to name a few. Those businesses are booming. Their stock is up 300 to 500% in the last just 1 year. That's amazing. That how the economy, where the money is moving while the world is dealing with these challenges. Amazon, your Walmarts, Home Depots, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, you name any one of these giants, tech giants. The list goes on, and these are thriving and booming in this digital economy. I can't say too much about the infrastructure and construction. There is a mixed impact. Somewhere it's slowed down, and other where it requires the infrastructure to support the government or establishments to deal with the COVID pandemics. Definitely there is an advancement and speed up into the infrastructure and construction projects over there. So what is the bottom line and take home message for us? That human rights, gender equality, climate change, and responsible governance must be at the center of this unfolding world post-pandemic. So that is the topmost things that you will see. Next, the post-pandemic, we will have a socio-economic strata chasm. It would be rapidly widened. The poor has become poorer or will become, and the rich will become richer. And the trends are already there. There are people who cannot even make two ends meet, and others are minting money through the stock market and other venues. So that this challenge post-COVID does not absolve our academic institutions also from the challenge. Our academic institutions can't continue to function and operate the way they did pre-COVID. And I think that there is a wake-up call, early wake-up call for academic institutions here. The consumer demand and supply dynamics have also changed for good, even if it is about delivering the education. So remember, the choices we make now will have far-reaching consequences on the generations to come. I'm really glad that Professor Tankeshwar Kumar, is amid us along with his team and key chain of command. And I believe, sir, your work has already begun at GJUS&T. The world around it, as the world around it emerges out of the pandemic. So post-COVID, I would say, reimagine, rethink, reposition GJUS&T. It's a healthy headache to have. So some of the key questions as I think through this that are bubbling up in my head are, and you may want to take note of it, is how the future of education system looks like. What's the demand, and how am I going to prepare the next generation graduating from GJUS&T to be successful and thrive in the society or marketplace? That's really the challenge in front of you, all the faculty members. And I'm sure Professor Tankeshwar Kumar will be looking for your support from all corners. The next question that I'm thinking about is that, what is the cost of not changing at all, or changing but not in the right direction? And who will pay that cost? And how GJUS&T is going to stay competitive and continue to offer attractive education opportunities as well as education package. So again, there's a lot of rethinking required there in delivering the education, setting up the curricula, establishing your connection with the industry, and list goes on and on. There are a lot that can be done. And again, the distance education, gone are the days of physical collocation and for the people to be in Hisar to get the education from GJUS&T. So thinking about that, opening the online courses and all of that. So the future is here now. What is GJUS&T not doing that leading academic institutions nationally and internationally are doing, or thinking or planning? So these are just some of the comments. In case you are wondering why I'm posing these questions, here are my just 2 cents. The history has shown us that choices that we make during crisis can shape the world for decades to come, meaning that the impact of this COVID will be felt for 20, 30, or even 40 years. It's not easy to switch the button within a blink of an eye. So there is a need for a more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable future world that is more apparent. The thought leaders at IMF, International Monetary Fund, they are setting our ancient tone, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, a global view tone, and they are championing it. So these are the bodies that are already thinking about how to impact and shape the future policies of the world. So believe it or not, the future of work has arrived here faster than you have imagined. So this is really a wake-up call for the young generation, the students, who will be stepping into the post-COVID world. The world will look very different. The job, the opportunities, the demand, skill demand in the market. So think about what your education is going to help you in making your living or live you your dream of your life. So there is something for you to think about. And don't worry about it. I'm going to share some of the strategies that you can practically employ to deal with these situations. So you can see that we will see a lot more income polarization, the workers' vulnerability because of the changing dynamics. Either you will find yourself not fitting into the corporation culture, or the corporations will be changing also fast, requiring the adjustment of the labor force and reskilling. More gig work is going to be around. Just in case if you are wondering what a gig is, in short, it is a highly skilled, tangible work that you can achieve in a short period of time. For example, is that if you need to develop a software application for a specific purpose, so you require specific skills that you can achieve tangibly within, let us say, a few months, between 2 to 6 months time. So more of that kind of work will be floating around. There is a need for workers to adapt to the occupational transition as well. So this acceleration is the result of not only technological advances, but also the new consideration for health and safety and economies and labor markets that will take time to recover and will likely emerge changed. So now that all of us have spent good last 20 minutes just learning about the pandemic aftermath, the challenges, and how the world will emerge out of it, and for practically and personally what the pandemic really means to us or to me. So let's take a dive into this topic that you have been waiting for, the open real life discussions. So here are some of the strategies, and we will switch gear here. I'm not going to read through this slide. You will you can read it, but here are some of the things that I thought. The feeling locked down, physically, socially distanced, or there is a disruption in your normal life activities. If you are feeling there is more bad than good, news storming from all sectors of life or all corners. If you are feeling worried and anxious about the future and your own place in it, feeling emotional roller coaster going through that. And I must say that if you are feeling that you're really sad because you lost some loved one or someone near and dear to you, and or you knew someone well enough, these are all the practical challenges that we all are facing. If you are feeling frustrated, angry, agitated, depressed, or helpless, and more for whatever reason, if that sounds like you, folks, I have a good news for you. However, you need to do some work. And if you want to materialize that goodness in your life, you definitely have to change your perspective in life if you are not already there. So at this point, I'm directly talking to you, the individual, not the group. And may I ask that you mindfully just feel that it's a direct communication between you and me and no one else is around. So as you pass through various phases of pandemic wave, I would suggest that in the meantime, you can take a few concrete steps to stay positive, stay healthy, both physically and mentally. I know changing is hard, especially when it is not driven by your intrinsic motivation. Take a leap of faith with me here for now. I assure you that the benefits would be tangible enough to stick with you for the rest of your life. So I will show you the path that has personally helped me, and I hope that it will help you as well. So I'm doing a quick time check. How much time do we have? If we have another 10-15 minutes, probably I would like to conclude and then leave time for question. Is that okay, Dr. Hardev?
It's about 4:40, sir. So you have time, sir. More than 30 minutes.
Okay. Perfect.
No issue. Please continue. Lalitji,
Okay,
please
excellent,
continue.
excellent. Thank you so much. So I will just share that when all of us didn't know about coronavirus back in November 19, I was traveling to India and Bangalore and Hyderabad on a business trip, and also for some family time back in Bhiwani and Gurgaon. But as I came back around Christmas time, that's when the coronavirus was the hot news and talk of the everyday news. So as I carried through my activities, then I had to be back in India in end of February and early March to conduct a workshop on high performance computing with my team over there. And as I flew to India, it was February 29th and early morning March 1st, when I was in the taxi going to my hotel. That's when I got a emergent corporate communication asking all of the offshore leaders traveling for business to make alternate arrangement and return home immediately. So at that time, US had already realized that what's going on, the severity and impact of COVID pandemic, and that's why they wanted the workers to be safe and healthy. So that's why they asked us to come back. So anyway, next day I delivered just one day of my workshop. In the meantime, between different breaks, I was scrambling to get my return flight booked and taken care of. And that evening, I was back on flight. So long story short, on 20 hours of journey back home, I was thinking that what does it all mean? How it is impacting my work currently? It has pretty much flattened my plan for next 6 months, because that was the purpose of me to do the workshop. So anyway, instead of just moaning about it, bitching about it, I was already forward thinking and said that this is the reality. What can I do differently in this situation? So within 20 hours of those transit time, I had my plans ready. I had my presentation ready that I wanted to share with my senior leadership and defend my proposal. And by end of March, I had my proposal actually in action. So the project was going that I outsourced and had the team put in place. So basically very rapidly adapting to the situation created by the COVID-19. I self-quarantined myself until March 15, but in the meantime, here in US, then corporation, majority of the global corporations announced that indefinite remote work policies have been enforced. And since then, it is now 15 months and we are still not out of it. So you can see that how you need to be creative and take positive steps, stay positive, then you get the new insights in your life that help you to deal with the situation and the problems much more efficiently and effectively. And no one had really imagined the hiatus to be that long. So what has really helped me in the last 15 minutes was very simple, strategic, intentional, and practical lifestyle that you can see here. I increased my practice of Ashtanga yoga and mindfulness. It gave me time that otherwise I did not have. Of course, there were 2 hours I was spending in traveling that I would now spend on yoga and mindfulness. It gave me the discipline and control on my life. So as you can see here, what you can control and what you can't control, the web is filled with so much of the junk that doesn't tell you how to deal with it. It tells you the symptoms, but not an effective way. Out of this, there is one thing that I have highlighted for you in orange circle, and that is your thought. Your thought is the key to unlocking what you can control and what you cannot. This is the single most important entity, I would say. Just know that once your thought materializes, you get a second chance to tap into the missed or messed up opportunity control your mind with honest and unbiased reflection as an observer. So you have to really distance yourself out of this mind-body complex. And then think about it. Remember that thoughts materialize at nanoseconds or even smaller time scales than that. So all you experience is the emotional impact, whether it is positive emotion, negative emotion, or neutral emotion. And then those thoughts materialize into your actions. Your neurons fires, the chemicals are produced in your mind, and those chemical messengers drive rest of the actions in the body, whether it is the stress or happiness hormones, whatever it is. So you know all of that. And the stimulus can come from externally or internally. So that's why your thought is the single most important currency. I can't emphasize enough that you have to learn how to control. And that's where the yoga and mindfulness and meditation really helps. It's really your pravrittis that drive your life. If you don't know, you have to experience that. So meditation helps you to understand and see your pravrittis in action. Actually, it's a beautiful phenomena, and I will share that experience also with you. I'm not talking about any theory. This is not in the books. It's all my practical experience that I will share. If you are not controlling your thoughts and you are not mindful of your pravrittis, what's going on, what emotions are being generated, and not realizing that you have access to unlimited thoughts, good or bad. Why a particular set of thought just materializes? Because it is the second nature. It's the algorithm that's built into the pravrittis. Those waves just come, materialize, and boom, there you go. Somebody said something and you became angry. Nobody, the person or the situation did not made you angry. You made yourself angry. It is the pravrittis. That's why I'm saying that if you do not control and be mindful, rest, everything is bound to happen, whether you like it or not. It is your pain, suffering, or a pleasure, raga or dvesha. So they will continue to emerge unstoppably from your chit's vrittis. So it is best to learn how to mindfully control it. And then also another thing I would say, that joy of giving and understanding your own relation to it in the Srishti, it's a beautiful thing that will change your life in so many ways that you can't even imagine. And third one is, I would say, the gift of intervention with compassion and sincerity. So COVID-19 really gave me the opportunity and my family to have more quality time together, do the physical activities together. We started to get up very early in the morning, as Professor Avinash was saying. Fix your sleeping time and your get up time. That's exactly what we did. And it was a non-compromised discipline in our life. We did not compromise on these things. So early morning, yoga asanas, pranayam, meditation, that's what we brought into our daily routine. So that was the change, major change, I would say. And we would spend 1 to 2 hours in the morning. If the meetings are early, because we all work from home, then we will adjust our get-up time accordingly, but not compromise. This was our top priority. Remember the keyword, the priority, and I will talk about that in a bit as well. Then another thing was that what family did was the Saturdays Skype get together with remote family members so that we stay connected, reinforcing, encouraging, and supporting each other to stay safe, healthy, and strong, and uphold our commitment, our family values, our cultural values. So those cultural weekend events help us not only rediscover and strengthen mutual relations, but also uplift our spirit. Definitely something that people can do, and I highly encourage. And then third thing that I did was, just before sleeping, when I'm in my bed, I would do the meditation and mindful moments. It's just with me and internal reflection. And I never kept track of the time, whatever time it takes, because it's a process and you are lost in that. So So it's really the key drivers was for the yoga and mindfulness, which is integral part of my life now, even more so than it was before, was the driver was agile response to the change, realization of abnormal as the normal, actions necessary for lifestyle adjustment was committed to your physical and mental well-being. And what was the result was a holistic health benefits, which helped me gain new insights in connecting to self, family, or nature. And on the right side, I'm sharing two very important Patanjali Yoga Sutras, which are not new to you, but very important for you to internalize. And you may just spend rest of your life. And you would be, I would say you would be lucky even if you can get half of it right. Because it's not for reading or just know something is written over there. It is to experience it. It is to live it. So Atha Yoga Anushashanam. योग से अनुशासन आता है जीवन में एंड योग चित्त वृत्ति निरोध है योग से चित्त की वृत्तियों का नियंत्रण cessation आता है. And in these slides you can see that at the bottom I have some of the nuggets for you that I have thought and I believe might help you as well. So let me ask you the question, what is the biggest roadblock in transitioning from your existing routine to the one that you wish, or you had wished for a long time, however, not been able to implement it or sustain it? Anybody? You can share now, or feel free to type it in the chat. So the answer is the first is a strong determination, which is followed by an unwavering commitment. I repeat, your determination and unwavering commitment is the prerequisite. Second is, let's just say and face it, it's not your top priority. You wish, but your intent and your seriousness is not behind it. That's why it never materialized. I have experienced it. I have been so many times, I want to do this, I want to do that, but it was a wishful thinking because I never made it a priority. The day I made that a priority, things happened in my life and they stuck with me. So with that, I would like to take you a little bit into the practical aspects of that. You can spice up and energize your mornings with Surya Namaskar, and you will see a quick demo of that as well. So this is a simple exercise. I call it the McDonald's of yoga because it gives you the overall body massage and exercise. Pretty much all of your 72,000 nadis, activating them, toning up your muscles, opening up your lungs, and also energizing your mind with positivity. So remember the sun salutation. If you do it for 15 minutes, these 12 exercises, and I would say that repeat that at least 10 times. It takes about 1 minute, 10 seconds to do one round of Surya Namaskar with the chants. Then do the pranayam after that for 10 minutes and meditation for 5 minutes in the morning. So without any further ado, let's get started with the demo. So this was just about 1 minute and 5 seconds of routine. And you have seen that Surya Namaskar with the mantras. What do the mantras bring to you? It is not the exercise to just to pray to the vital forces of nature, the sun, which is the very source of our life, the energy form that is flowing in all of us. That's what we are made up of. I mean, as a physicist, you know that all the earth and the matter ejecting out out of the sun plasma and forming the various planets around us, and we are just coming out of this earth in this form. So the mantras are really, it's your obeisance to sun, where you are surrendering yourself with dedication and devotion and internalizing the meaning of each mantra. So think about all the positive qualities of sun, the illuminance, the brilliance, the source of light that it is. It is your friend, you know. It cleanses the environment. The list will go on and on. The once you will start to think about these qualities, these mantras, and internalize them. And as you speak those mantras along with the exercises, you are getting your body and mind exercise at the same time. Then these are the different poses. And again, I have listed here benefits. These slides I will share with all of you. They will stick with you. And on the right side, I'm showing the 7 chakras. So basically, the 72,000 nadis that emanate right beneath your navel and spread throughout your body. And that's where the control is. These 7 chakras that are situated on the tip to toe of your spine. Understanding them and how to activate them is a journey in itself, a life in itself, and it's a tough act, but that practice, if somebody wants to do, definitely I can talk about it. So some of these asanas definitely help you open up your heart chakra, the one that you see here in green, next to your chest, the green one. So this is called Anahat chakra. So let's spend only few moments on the pranayama and meditation technique, what has helped me. So there are 3 bandhas that are essential. Mool bandh, which is at the very base of your spine. That's where Kundalini Shakti is. And how to be or how to be situated in a Mool bandh. It is the motion, involuntary motion that you experience daily during the morning bowel movements or during the urination. So after urination, the squeezing act that you feel or experience, that is Mool bandh. So before you do any of the pranayam, you will have to, or sit in meditation. Some of these bandhas will, I'll share with you, they will be important. So you'll have to intentionally be in Mool bandh. That is squeezing act internally. And by the way, for your records, this Mool bandh also helps with the prostate growth in men. And this is a problem in late 50s and after 50s. Next one is the Uddiyana bandh, which is the area, your stomach area around your navel. You have to empty your lungs out of the air. All the air is out. Hold your breath and then pull your stomach back towards your chest, back towards your back. So all of your stomach and back should start to squeeze. That is Uddiyana bandh. And third bandh is the Jalandhar bandh, which is really either the breath is out or when the breath is in on different poses, you have to put your chin up in just below this Adam's apple space, because this then locks your air passage. So that's Jalandhar bandh. So now that you know that these 3 bandhas, next I'm going to talk about just only 5 pranayams. There are about 10-15 pranayams that you can do, but these 5 will yield into tangible health benefits. Now, so 5 rounds of deep and mindful breathing. Just you are mindfully breathing. Then you do 30 seconds of Bhastrika pranayama, which is deep inhale, deep exhale with force. So that is the Bhastrika pranayama. And then 5 minutes of Kapalbhati, which is passive inhale but active exhale, and which will be like this. Do that for 5 minutes. And after that, do 10 rounds of Anulom Vilom. So basically with your thumb, make the yoga mudra like this. And with your thumb, close your right nostril. Take a deep breath, normal. Hold it for a second. And let it go from your other nostril. Inhale from other nostril. Hold it. Let go from the other nostril. So this you do 10 rounds of Anulom Vilom, and they start to activate your Ida and Pingla nadis that go through your spinal cord. So 3 nadis go, Ida, Pingla, and Sushumna. So one is to control. So those are the nadis that you help you control the temperature in the body, basically. High or low temperature. And then the Sushumna is the one that helps you with the balance of these energies within the body. Then end your pranayam routine with 3 rounds of Abhyantar pranayam, which is that after you're done with Anulom Vilom, just take a deep breath and hold. Go in the Udyan Bandh and hold. Hold as much as you can without torturing yourself, and then let go. Take twice the time that you took to inhale to let it go gently. So perform these 5 pranayams and you will see the tremendous health benefits. So just know that breathing is the exercise for your inner organs, while meditation is the cleansing of your mind. So exercise for your mind. So a little bit about meditation. So what you can do with the meditation is mindful breathing. Just sit in Sukhasana, which is your cross-legged position, pose, relax your body. Your spine should be straight. So you should not be either forward or backward, neither neck like this nor neck like this. It should be exactly level head. So the chin, if you go from, let me go the sideways so that you can see, from chin back to the spine, this is a 90-degree angle. So just straight that way. So sit in that position with in yoga mudra with both of these hands relaxed on your knees. And then you just feel your breath. That's all what you have to do in meditation. So I'm sure that if you do that mindfully, you will start to see that breath will take you places. And this is the most important thing in our life that is happening mindlessly. How beautiful it is, I really want you to experience firsthand yourself. So with that, thank you, and I conclude my talk here, and I open this up for question and answers. But wait, before you go anywhere, before you sign off today, don't forget to take your homework assignment with me. Okay. So today is your opportunity to change your order of priorities. How about starting with some mindfully feeling your breath, as I mentioned, and just see it going out, coming in, and see if you want to be more adventurous. I would encourage you that explore your mind and body aspect that you are housed in along with the breath. Like I said, it will take you places that you have never been before. I mean, you are there, but they never registered in your life. They will start to register. So I hope we have now enough time for question and answer. And let me stop sharing.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for such type of impressive talk. You told us how we can make ourselves healthier mentally as well physically, and how the pranayam and meditation help us in such a tough time. So now question type. I hope all the participants enjoyed the lecture very well. Any question? It is requested to the participant, please interact with Lali sir. You can.
You are an awesome audience.
So it has been really interesting talk, and yes, everybody was looking for this kind of talk, actually. So all the students, they were, off and on, they were requesting for such type of a talk, and finally we have had one, and it has been really interesting. So, I believe on behalf of students, I think I must say something because they are not interacting. But then you asked us, why we are listening to your talk. Okay. So I believe that, because the new lifestyle which we are into it inside the home, doing so many things, performing almost all the duties from home, and now we have that fear in us that whether we will be able to again join that same old lifestyle which we used to enjoy before. So that fear is persistent because off and on we are getting those peaks again and again in some form or the other. The variants are, the mutation is on and on, and we don't see any end to it. I don't think so. And more so, people predicting that more you vaccinate, the more it mutates, and the variants are more, and so on and so forth. So it has been wonderful that you have talked about all these asanas, and which will help us to balance our mind and the lifestyle too. So so persistence fear in us that okay, now what,
That's a,
do we have to live like this?
yeah. So that's an excellent question, Sunita ji. So let me answer that in a practical way. So that fear is across the globe. It's not unique to you or someone. So that's in a way is good. But know that the the cycles in nature are never static. So this is a period that will elapse. We just have to have trust in the nature. And as you mentioned, that virus is mutating. Of course, that's what its job is. But we are no less strong biology either. And you have seen that people, those who have been through corona, even without vaccination, they have emerged strong. And the biology in their body has dealt with it and enabled their immune system to deal with this virus or its variants, because the antibodies that are naturally produced are more versatile and dynamic in dealing with further virulence strains that are coming. That's one thing. But what we can do during
But then there is a constant debate, whether you be out to have a lockdown or we need not have, just because
yes,
in fact you
that
said so.
that that debate will be there. I would say that common sense should prevail. It's your health, your safety is your responsibility.
Yeah,
So
that's true. That's
so that's why it's important. Like, we are vaccinated here in US, but for me, there is no difference in my lifestyle change, how much I go out, how much I interact with people. We do not invite people. We do not go to people's house if they invite. It is not rude, but it's a very humble position that we explain to the people. Going out in the market, again, it is, we have chosen very specific shops that we have to go, and with all the mask and the eye protection on, and we spend very little time in the shopping mall. It's not a mall, just the shop. Just get the groceries and get the out of there, minimizing that time. We are not letting our guard down. And this has given me so much of the time to connect to myself that I have never been able to do before. It was always rushing, rushing, rushing. So I think I would take it more positively. And I think in next about 8 to 9 months, I can see that more vaccine solutions are coming, and the scientific machinery globally, especially the pharmaceutical industry, is now equipped to deal with the variants in a very effective manner in a short time. Their technology, the vaccine delivering platform, is well established, which they can introduce and understand what the mutation is, and produce the epitope that will counter that, and that can start to kickstart our immune system with the antibodies to deal with this. All of those things are already in place, and the world has already thought through. So I'm pretty sure in the mankind's ability to deal with post pandemic, but what we can do internally is that not to let ourselves be living in fear or in doubt or weaken ourselves, because a weak mind directly translates into a weak immune system. And that's the last thing that you want to do to yourself. So that's why I stay mentally positive and healthy and take all the precautions. But I hope that answers to somewhat, even though we can have a debate for a long time on this.
So there are many positive aspects. Yes, we all know about it. And yes, we have been connecting with our families so well now, and we know each other so well, and we have learned also so many things which we would have otherwise avoided to learn. And yes, we are communicating more on, say, human being level, that those feelings we are able to communicate. So yeah, there are a number of positive things. But just to continue the discussion, I must say that the world has seen pandemic before also, and but then at that stage, the transportation and the communication was not so much. But and therefore the fear is that in this pandemic, because there's a lot of, we can easily transport ourselves to from one end of the world to the other, so we can carry our this virus from one end to the other, and there is
Absolutely.
yeah, so the things would keep blowing in some country or some part of the world every time. It will go on and on for at least, I believe, couple of years. We are not going to have.
Of course. I mean, that's why. I mean, we are into this for much longer than we can imagine. That's for sure. And as you rightly mentioned, Sunita ma'am, that we are into this for a longer time, and we are more mobile ever before. So the world is more global. The distances have shrunken on Earth, and we will continue to be the carrier. I mean, you never know. While the virus is evolving just within a local geography, the people will be traveling, and these things will continue. So I hope that at some point we will develop enough herd immunity to deal with. So that's how nature deals with these changes in the environment.
So balancing the thinking process and our mind is more important than anything else.
Right. So let's make a little bit more interesting. So are you ready for some practical thing to do yourself? Let's take just 2 minutes.
Yes, sir.
If everybody's ready.
Yes.
So what we will do, in whatever position you are, let's close our eyes and start to feel your breath, just going in, coming out, going in, coming out. Just continue to watch. Are you breathing fast? Are you breathing slow? Just observe that mindfully. Turn yourself into an observer. The posture you are sitting in, is your body too tight, or is it relaxed? Or do you have a specific stress in the parts of your body? For example, your right hand is more stressed than left hand, or your neck is more stiff. Just continue to focus on those things as the breath is going in. Try to face your breath and just be easy on it. Let it go easily in, let it come out easily. Are you feeling that as the breath is rubbing, going inside your nose, do you feel any sensation there? What's that sensation? Just observe that. As the breath is going in and as the breath is coming out, is there a difference in the sensation? Any temperature difference you feel? Is the ingoing breath as it touches and rubs against your palate, the top of your mouth, the talu? Do you feel any coolness there? Just stay at that point for a moment when you breathe in. You don't have to stop your breath. Just continue to breathe normally and continue to observe. So as that breath is rubbing through the talu, do you feel any cold wave percolating up towards your brain from there? Do you feel your body to be more relaxed now than you started to just focus on your breath?
Yes, it is doing wonders, I believe.
How is your breath doing? How's your heart doing?
Yeah.
I think it's stable now.
All right, let's all come out of this.
It requires a lot of practice, 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes, and so daily practice is required.
Right. So what I started to allude to, that once you start to observe and experience that, you will want to do more and more of that. It's so beautiful. And that's why I said that we breathe, but we never breathe mindfully. So this is really your homework.
Yes, observing your own breath is, does wonders actually. Yes.
So, and any other questions, comments, or thoughts?
Dr. Hardev, is there any question?
No, there is no question in chat box. So, any question from audience, please? Anyone want to ask any question?
Okay. I think we can conclude, Dr. Hardev, then. It's over to you.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I just, yes.
Yes.
I just want to say something.
Yes, sir.
I already said that, the physics can do anything, so they, it's not only that they are doing the computer science, the yoga, and they're linking it with the science. But I just want to say that those who are not able to perform Surya Namaskar, it's not easy for everyone, right? For a beginner, there is another possibility. They can go for a chair Surya Namaskar. Chair Surya Namaskar is there. If you look into some search on the Google, you will able to find the YouTube and other things. That is easy. You can start with the chair Surya Namaskar. Okay. That you can do 10, 20 every day. You can start with 6 and then maybe 10, 12.
Right.
So people can start with that.
Right.
Yeah.
All those who are very healthy, they can go for those chair Surya Namaskar.
Maybe after a month or so, they can go with the Surya Namaskar also.
Normal Surya Namaskar.
जैसा ललित सर आपका था वैसा तो हर कोई नहीं कर सकता, बट जितना भी पॉसिबिलिटी रहती है बॉडी स्ट्रेचिंग की, आई थिंक एवरीबॉडी कैन डू इट. जहां तक भी एक्सटेंशन या स्ट्रेचिंग हो सकता है, एवरीबॉडी कैन डू इट, बट डेफिनेटली इट गिव्स a very focused mindfulness And the day, if we start the day by doing this, definitely we get a lot of things. The whole day we get energy full of everything.
Absolutely. I think that's the point, is not to feel that there is a perfect posture, but it's to your level of comfort. So what I would say that in each pose, you take yourself just 1 degree above that, where it is a comfortable discomfort, I would say. You feel stretching a little bit over, but you will start to enjoy if you stay in that discomfort for 10 seconds, 15 seconds. And then you will start to have therapeutic benefits. But if you are not out of your comfort zone, the therapeutic benefits will not be that much.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much, GJUS, for the opportunity to be among you today. I feel even younger being amongst the students and all the young, healthy faculty members. It was really a great pleasure to share some of my life's journey, my thoughts, ideas, and hopefully some practical learnings.
How can you help our university academically?
What I can help is in few ways, is definitely with the data science and computer science. If there are any focused discussion or career opportunities, or just students who would like to know, I'm always there available. And then also on the life sciences industry, especially the business of pharmaceutical development or the agriculture industry. I have a lot of experience and know a lot about those platforms. Definitely, I can share my ideas around those and energize the discussion or the passion in the students or the faculty members in conducting the new research. So definitely, I'm available and happy to share my experience. So I can bring the industry perspective to the academia.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
That's great.
Yeah, we have BSc data science in our university. Maybe
Excellent.
sometime we do something.
BSc data science.
Definitely.
Hello.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. You have conveyed your message to the participant in a very beautiful way, sir. Your presentation is really very good, sir. Thank you very much, sir.